Hey YouTube, what's up? So this is kind of a out of the blue video. You guys might be thinking, what in the world? What made you think of to talk about this subject? Now, basically, what inspired me to make this video and come out with this, and maybe basically talk about this, on YouTube. Basically, I was at the local fish store just picking up some stuff, and I noticed some people, and they're all kind of gathered around this one tank, and I went over to see what they were looking at, and it was actually some sort of shark, some sort of sand or nurse shark. And these people seemed very interested to take this shark home with them. And you can kind of, you learn to, distinguish people at the fish store, whether or not they're very experienced. These people did not seem very experienced. I've seen them there before. And, both that and talking to a lot of people both my age and older, people online, seeing what a lot of people post online. Actually one of my good friends at school has a 55-gallon saltwater tank, and he has a bamboo shark. So it seems as irrelevant as it might seem, it's actually a pretty common thing that I felt like I should address on YouTube to my viewers. And that's keeping sharks and rays in tanks. Now, sharks and stingrays are cool, obviously. Who doesn't think they're cool? They're very, they're predators of the ocean. They're just, it's an awesome idea to think that you could have one in your living room. That you feed and you can see, whenever you want. That's a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. But now, one thing you really have to consider. One thing you really have to consider with these sharks is they require a lot of care, a lot of maintenance, a lot of monitoring them. They're actually a really pretty fast-growing animal. They attain really large sizes. They're very active. They can be pretty aggressive as well. Some species, they're not. A lot of them aren't very compatible, especially at a large size. With other more common aquarium fish, more aquarium suitable fish. So just a lot of people don't consider that. And you might be surprised, but a lot of people out there just do not consider those facts. I've seen nurse sharks, bamboo sharks, and I've seen people buy those from my local fish store and just take them home, and I'm just thinking, it's just, I personally, I don't believe any shark should ever be kept in captivity, besides maybe the bamboo sharks and things like that can stay a little bit relatively smaller than the other species. You can keep them in a 300-gallon tank comfortably. Unfortunately, a lot of people that buy these sharks, the majority of them do not have 300-gallon tanks. They have, like I said, 55-gallon to maybe 125. That's the general kind of size range that they're placing these sharks in. And it's just that's definitely not large enough for any shark. No species of shark should be kept in a tank less than 300 gallons. That's just my personal opinion. That's definitely I can back that up with information. A lot of studies. These guys are very active creatures. They like to swim. They like to hunt for food. It's just not a good idea to get any shark if you're not very experienced with a very, very large tank. There's this ridiculous rumor that people have been spreading for years that I always heard as a kid, and that was sharks, specifically, I don't know why sharks, they can only grow to the size of their tank. So people, sometimes, even when I talk to my friend, I'm like, you have a 55-gallon tank, why would you get a bamboo shark? It's like, oh, well, sharks only get to grow to this, they only grow to the size of their tank, so they can live a nice, comfortable life in a 55-gallon tank, for example. That's just not true. It's partly true. Tanks can stunt fish growth. Their growth can be stunted. That's very, very unhealthy for the fish. It greatly shortens their lifespan most of the time. If they don't get stunted, they will just die of stress. So they'll have a very short lifespan. That's not good for you or the fish. What a lot of people don't realize, fish, a clownfish, for example, can live easily 20 years if well taken care of, especially the captive bred ones. So you can't say, oh, well, my fish was 1 year old and it died. Oh, that was a pretty good lifespan he had. No, it's not. Saltwater fish, especially sharks, can live really long times. Really long time. So please just don't think that you can pick up a shark and have it comfortably hang out in your tank and all is good and dandy. You're gonna have to make a pretty big decision in the future. And the sad thing for a lot of these sharks is most public aquariums will not take in unwanted pets who have outgrown tanks. So if your nurse shark, let's say, outgrows your 75-gallon tank, and you say, hey, you go up to the public aquarium, hey, can you please take this shark and put it in your shark tank? That they're probably going to say, no, I'm sorry, we just cannot do it. It's against the our policies here. And then what happens to that shark? You can't release it. Some people might, but it's not. The shark's going to end up dying out in the wild, most likely. So basically, euthanasia is pretty much the last resort for a lot of these sharks, unfortunately. That's just not, that shouldn't be happening. I don't think any shark should ever be kept in captivity, except for, like I said, some of the very, very smaller ones in tanks at the minimum of 300 gallons. But black-tip sharks, white-tip sharks are just way too active. Large public aquariums that are constantly maintained by experts. That's where those types of sharks can go. I was watching Tanked, and Tracy Morgan was on there, and he had a shark tank, and he had like 3 or 4 different a mixture of like black tip and white tip sharks in this tank. I have no idea how big it was, but and these sharks were all pretty small. But what's gonna happen to them? That's what I'm trying to say. In the area I live, black tip sharks especially are very common, so I see them out in their natural habitat, and they're very active. They're never, I just could not imagine one being trapped in a tank. That seems cruel to me. It just doesn't seem like it ended well for the shark or the keeper. Same thing goes for rays. Rays, some can be kept in smaller tanks, definitely smaller than tanks than what sharks can be kept in. But of course, you need a fine sand bed so they don't get damaged. There's just a lot of things you have to consider. You can't just. It's definitely not one of those things where you can go, hey, sure, I'll pick it up like it's School of Chromis or something. You definitely have to know what you're doing for a shark or a ray of any kind. I don't care what the fish store tells you. I don't care, I just don't care. Just please listen to me on this. Do not take home a shark that your fish store, 55 gallons, fine. No, he won't outgrow it. Just please don't do that. Please do not do that. I think this is pretty much kind of a spontaneous video, but just a heads up for all of you guys that like sharks, please leave them in the ocean unless, wait till you have a lot more experience, till you have a very large tank, and then maybe you could pick up a single, bamboo shark or something like that. But other than that, no, please do not, for the best of you and the shark, and the rest of your fish in that tank for that matter. Just please leave them alone. Leave them at the fish store. Don't, you might say, oh, well, someone with a smaller tank might pick him up. Just, that might be true, but the problem is when you buy that shark, you're just paying the industry. You're making them say basically, oh, okay, all right, we need another shark. Sharks are obviously a little bit more popular than we thought. So, when people are buying stuff, the company is going to be bringing more of that in because they know that it sells. So please don't try to, rescue a shark or anything like that. Please just leave it, as cruel as it sounds. Just leave it for the fish store to handle, or have them do something with it. But so please, no sharks, no rays, unless you're very experienced and you have a very, very, very large tank. That's pretty much it. Now, the question of the video is, if you could have any, shark species that only reaches 3 inches long, what would you want it to be in your tank? I think probably mine would probably be a bull shark or something like that. That'd be pretty neat. A little 3-inch bull shark swimming around the tank. So if any species of shark only reaches 3 inches long, could fit in your tank perfectly, what would that shark be that you would take home? That's pretty much it. Like the video if you like it. Please leave a comment to answer the question or anything at all. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, I really do appreciate it, guys. And that's pretty much it. No sharks, no rays. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.